to the 4th episode of LOTRO. My name is Aaron Romeo Moon Burke, and I am here with Sarah Berserker Prime Bloy, Mad Matt Windchill, and Randy Ranson McCulloch. We are in the Prancing Pony Landreval server.
The famous Prancing Pony.
Haha.
Okay,
Drink
guys,
start.
welcome to tonight's show. How's everyone doing?
I'm fine.
It's all good.
I got about 4 levels today.
Everyone seems to be leveling pretty heavily.
Well, let's see. 7 days. I just started this game after the last podcast. So 7 days worth of playing. I've got 23 levels on one character and 14 levels on another.
Wow.
That's not bad for a week's work.
Yeah,
I'm actually pretty slow to level.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing this tune here, Megalodon, for about a year, and he's only level 46. I'm ridiculously slow, actually.
Then again, you have a schedule that would kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm working.
It's almost killing me.
I'm working 46 to 48 hours myself, lifting 50-pound boxes of chicken. Raw chicken.
Yeah,
mind
you win.
Hey, you got chicken.
Yeah.
Chicken.
Thank you, Leroy.
Okay.
Hey, we could all go do the quest where we turn into chickens.
Oh yes, I was telling Randy
I
about
bet you
that.
that-
Yeah, they were
today.
mentioning that. May I have a question? What was the developer smoking? I mean, first of all, it has nothing to do with Lord of the Rings. All I can think of is that there was a developer thing where they were passing around some really good stuff, and it was just like, I have this idea, man. So we do this quest where we turn him into a chicken. A level 1 chicken.
A level 0 chicken, man!
And then we send them all over the place. And they can't die. Or they fail.
Yeah,
That's
I haven't
pretty
gotten up the gumption to try and do that quest going to Rivendell yet. I'm kind of scared. One could say I'm chicken.
Oh heck, where you have to go up into the was it Angmar, where you have to try to nest up there? You're level 1 amongst
Oh,
level
Lord.
50 enemies. You have 8 hours to do
Yeah.
it though.
Yeah, crazy.
Talk
Hey,
about running
gotta
for
admit though, it's a
Mordor.
different kind of quest.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta wonder if they're gonna add expansions to that quest now since they're adding more areas.
Probably.
Oh Lord, running all the way down to Rohan as a chicken. I guess it could be done.
Come on, even if they don't make that quest, you know someone's gonna try it.
Just for the obscurity of it, I wish I want to create somebody by the name of Boo that just does nothing but those quests.
Chicken food.
I'm sure somebody's already done it.
Aw.
Chicken boo.
You can always
Chicken.
try.
A giant chicken!
Hey, but if you succeed, you get the chicken cloak. The cloak of the chicken. Oh no, the cloak of the cluck is what it's called. Alright, well, I guess, so, Sarah, since you're one of the more, I think you are the most experienced, person who, we have at the table who's been playing this game for quite a while, how were you introduced to MMOs, and what made you get into Lord of the Rings Online?
Well, MMOs in general, it was you people who dragged me kicking and screaming.
One of
That was-
I believe it was Randy who had the Church of AO that eventually got me to play that. And I started looking around for other MMOs, and then I saw that this one went free to play, and said, well, let's give it a go. And I have been on it like an addict ever since because I'm a gigantic Lord of the Rings fan. Got into that with the movies, and now I'm a walking encyclopedia, so yeah.
Coolies? Hey Matt, what was your first experience with LOTRO?
I believe, actually, I want to say it was. I remember you and Sarah were talking me into it, and then Ed was brought into it, so I'm like, what the hell, sure. And I believe one of the first couple of days I was on it, all four of us were actually on, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep,
And funny enough, I was an elf then, too.
I was playing Borderlands, and Ed kept going on about this game that he and Sarah were playing, and how it was so cool to play the hunter because you could do a bow and you also had a knife for close quarter combat. So I was like, I blew it off for quite a while because I wanted to try to play Borderlands a little bit more, and eventually I got sucked into LOTRO. So, and Randy, what about you? How'd you get sucked into LOTRO? I totally have no idea how you would do that.
Yeah, you have no idea. It was called, "We're doing this for the podcast next week." That's how I got sucked into this.
And so Randy had to poke.
I'm like, all right. Mind you, Sarah's been nagging at me to try it now for like somewhere in the vicinity of a year and a half.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I would mention, everything. She's like, try to come over to LOTRO, play LOTRO. And I'm like, no. In fact, it was just a couple months ago I said I was not ever planning on playing LOTRO.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Famous last words.
And then you had to pull this on me, Aaron.
Yeah.
Damn it.
All we need to do is get Eric Craig in here. He said he would never play another fantasy MMO because he's so sick of fantasy MMOs after World of Warcraft and EverQuest.
Well,
those are two of the most generic examples to begin with. So
I can relate. I'm gonna give a new player aspect of this a little later. Somebody who just got into the game and hasn't been willing to say shut up and take my money yet. So I'll just wait for. You haven't mentioned how you got into it, Aaron.
Oh yeah, I did actually. Ed talked me into it. Ed Boy.
Yeah.
Ed Boy and eventually Sarah. I think I just kind of looked into it. I was kind of frustrated. I think Matt was actually in the game before I was because I remember.
Yeah, I think I was in shortly before you.
I was.
Oh, hey, look, it's Aryan.
Where?
It's Aryan. Hello, Aryan. Goodbye,
Hi,
Aryan.
Oh.
We had a cameo. Okay, anyways.
Don't do that.
Aryan
Break my
is,
train of thought.
just to fill everybody in, Aryan is the head of the watch in Bree in RP terms, and has been for quite some time.
See, I don't know stuff like that. I just go find stuff to kill.
I pretty much do. I do a lot of crafting and a lot of quests. I'm somebody who, for this game especially, I have to go through and read all of the quest texts, no matter how inane it may seem. It brings me that much more into the game. Sarah, what were some aspects of this game that you thought were really, I have to do this? I mean, other than being related to Lord of the Rings, are there game mechanics? Is there crafting or questing that you think is really a big draw for you?
The biggest game mechanic that's a draw for me is the fact that it's actually kind of hard to kill snipe. That was always the thing that irritated me the most on AO, was when somebody who is way higher level than you came in on something that you'd been grinding down for a while and just out-damaged you and kill sniped you. This one, if you're the first one to do damage to something, you're the one who gets the kill. You're the one who gets the treasure. No, somebody else can't come in and kill snipe you. I definitely like that because it discourages people from camping a little bit, because most of the time once you do it, you've done it. The big things you can't really farm. They're usually unique items that you can't get more than once. And there's just not much point to camping, and you can't kill snipe. They are about to introduce some new mechanics where assisting somebody does not cause an XP gank for them when they actually complete out the kill. So there used to be, it used to be such that, if somebody assists you in completing out a kill, you get an XP gank. But that now it's just going to be somebody assists you, you still get credit for that, you still get the full XP. And that's going to be really nice. nice.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds almost kind of like what Guild Wars 2 has done. What they've done is they've gone through where you are actually you can't kill steal for one thing. Everybody gets their own XP, and you also can't loot steal. Everybody gets their own loot table for helping to kill something.
Yeah.
So, which
Yeah.
is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's still NC soft, so I ain't going there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, as far as looting goes, when you're in a fellowship, they've got different ways of doing the rules. Like you can do the roll for high roll thing. You can do a round robin sort of thing. I think there is actually a setting for every man for himself, whoever gets there first. But I have never been in a fellowship that uses it.
Yeah.
I was actually trying to find it earlier today because Matt and I were in one of the areas here, the Barrow Downs, and we kind of both started splitting up and doing our own thing. So it was kind of, I just kind of wanted to.
We got far enough away that we didn't bother each other. So
yeah, eventually it just automatically went free for all, which was fine.
Yeah.
But it was like we would go for the same area, and he'd go left, I'd go right. So
Yeah.
because that way we were both working towards deeds, which are achievements in this game. So if he went left and took care of all the whites over there, and I went right and took care of all the whites over there, we both got more progress towards that achievement, or
Right.
deed.
Yeah, you'd essentially get those done twice as fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, 1.5 times as fast. I still kill faster than he does.
that was only because I had a weak bow. I finally upgraded. Now I'm killing faster.
You also got an armor upgrade. I know. I made it for you.
Oh yeah, that's one thing. What do you guys think of teaming in this game?
I'm glad I have Skype to coordinate. It's one of my big problems with most MMOs, but yes, it's a lot easier to say you go that way, I go this way when you're talking to the person live.
Yeah.
A lot of MMOs I see that have tried to integrate voice chat systems, mostly it's cryptic games, do it horribly. So what comes out from the other teammate sounds like okay.
Yeah. There apparently is a system for this. I've never even looked into using it at all, so I know nothing about it, and I don't know anything about how it sounds. But there's like a little icon that sometimes pops up on people in my kinship, which is a guild in this game. They're called kinships, and then fellowship is your team essentially. Every once in a while, if I'm in one of those two, I do see that icon pop up, and I have no idea how to use it, and I really, frankly, don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not really
Skype.
I've not really teamed with anybody I didn't know. This was actually my first teaming today.
Yeah,
I went to the last 7 days solo.
Yeah, that's actually a good thing. A nice thing about this is you can do most of the quests in here. A lot of the quests in here you can do solo. There's some that you really can't even do, even when they're great to you. You can't. You need to be in a team. But all of the epic quests, the main storyline quests, you can do those solo if you want.
That's because they provide you with a NPC
A mechanic for it. Yeah.
a NPC team, which you
No, actually,
lot.
most of the time it's often called the inspiration buff, which is basically suddenly you have about 3 times the hit points and you do more damage.
I haven't noticed that.
Yeah, that one's that might start coming in once you get into the back half of the Lone Lands and into the Trollshaws. That's where I've seen it most. But
If I want to pay for it, yeah.
Yeah. Or farm up the turbine points.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a while.
More about that later.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Sarah, what do you think of the higher level content? I mean, you are, what, level 47 here?
46.
46.
I am. Yeah. That's kind of mid-level. I haven't really gotten past. I actually have not even made it to the Mines of Moria yet. So there's a lot to do. Even before you get up into the higher levels, there's just a ton to do. I really like the later stuff, mostly because I've been through the early starter stuff so many times that it's kind of boring at this point to me. I'm definitely one of those explorer types. I like to explore the game map a lot, and for being in Lord of the Rings, it has the added bonus of, oh my gosh, there's that thing that was mentioned in the book. I really nerd out about that. But I definitely like just kind of exploring the map and finding all the places and stuff. And the epic storyline does get more and more interesting as you go along.
Get better.
I was actually going to mention, weren't you at one point spell checking the elven signs?
Yes, I was, and I have not found any that have been misspelled yet. I did find up in the North Downs. There's this odd thing going on. You've got the canonical location of Fornost, which is a ruin by the time period that they've set it in. And then you've also got this other place on the game map called Ostforod, which, if you really know anything about Sindarin, they mean the same thing. It's just that Ostforod says it backwards. They both say Northern City, but Ostforod is like saying City Northern. It's just kind of weird. It's the one thing that has knocked me out of the canon in this game. Otherwise, the devs are really good about that.
Didn't you say there was a creature running around that wasn't quite canon with Tolkien's his world?
There's a race called the Earthkin that you run into in the North Downs and in the Lone Lands. They are not in Tolkien canon at all. They're just something that the devs made up, and it's not so jarring. If you know about the Tolkien canon, it's something that you know isn't there in canon. And I'm suddenly standing, and I'm not sure why. Let's sit. That's because I'm AFK.
Yeah, every time you go AFK, you stand up.
Yep. But anyways, the Earthkin are not something that's canonical from the books, but it's not too terribly jarring. It's something that, if you stop and think about it, could exist. It's just not in the books. You know, I hate to say the argument of just because he didn't write it down didn't mean it didn't exist, but yeah, I suppose you could say that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, what about, there's something in here called skirmishes. That's where you get a lot of the really good armor, and I think you also get weapons from that, too, and a bunch of other stuff, too. You want to tell us a little bit more about that at all, or?
Skirmishes are interesting. I mean, it's just sort of like something that you can do for a change of pace. If you're tired of being on the main map with everybody else, you can jump into your own instance and do a skirmish, which is just, you run a mission. Usually it's, having to defend something or having to attack something. The narrative in the game is that you are participating in the War of the Ring in some form. The earliest of the skirmishes that you can do, one of them is called Trouble in Tuckborough, which essentially narrates out the whole invasion of the Shire by Saruman and his men a little bit, and it's kind of interesting in that sense. But essentially, it's just kind of a change of pace, and you get really nice weapons and armors off of it.
Okay, cool. Also, didn't we have some trouble with that? I don't know if it's
Lord.
glitched. Yeah.
Yeah, that Trouble in Tuckborough, it glitched. We died a lot. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. Was it like glitched to be like level 40 or 50 or something?
I think it was...
Yeah, we were all in our 20s, and it glitched out to like make it in the level 40 or something, and we just kept dying and dying and dying.
I think what happened was it was a glitch that if you were teamed with somebody inside the skirmish, then it did that. But like solo, It was supposed to be regular. It was supposed to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there was something going on with that. Like it somehow layered 2 levels of the skirmish on top of each other, so we were able to get all the way to the final boss in the Trouble with Tuckborough skirmish, and then he just kept stomping us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think we threw ourselves at him like 10 times before we said, all right, enough of this. It's obviously glitched beyond repair.
Yeah, it was quite strange, but I'm glad we finally noticed that. Have you done
That
the
was
Great
like a year
Burrow?
ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that's
about
a
a year ago, and I think shortly after we found out about it, the devs found out about it and started fixing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I think I was on Skype with you guys when that was going on.
Yeah, and you kept hearing us go, "We're dying a lot."
Oh my gosh,
No!
it's gonna cost so much to get my armor fixed.
Yeah.
God, yeah, I think half our stuff was broken by the time we got out of there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that music though. Trouble in Tuckborough music still remains my favorite music in the whole game. It's
yeah.
awesome. Bagpipes. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bagpipes of battle awesomeness.
Yep.
Coolies. Yeah. Matt, do you have a favorite section of this game or something that you want to point out that you thought was just really cool?
Really cool section of this game. Well, to be honest, just trying to find a roleplay server was nice after I found out how to find one.
Yes, Landerval, the roleplay encouraged server for the English language. Yay!
Yay. I don't mind the crafting. I like it that the story definitely does slowly improve over time. As Randy can protest over the last couple of days, he's gone from a plumber that's fixing the dwarven walls in Thorin's Gate to actually going off into the barrows and beating the snot out of undead.
You're now stepping on my review, Matt.
Oop. but yeah, that's about as far as I was going to go with that. Something I personally found really interesting. I like it better than WoW, even though everyone says it's a WoW clone.
I do think that the combat is a bit more smooth than what you find in World of Warcraft, but that is an older game too, so.
I guess it's. I'm not sure what it is, but I guess just overall the look and appeal of the game is what got me better than most of the other dozen or so fantasy MMOs I've tried. I've tried plenty of them. I've tried Rohan, I've tried WoW, I've tried all the Korean knockoffs of WoW.
And now you're standing, Aaron.
Yeah.
She's drinking! You stand to drink!
We stand like men to drink.
Or hobbits.
Blood.
Don't try it out, drink a hobbit. Don't let their size fool you.
Really? I'm so
You're a bunch of
badass.
drunken bastards.
The only ones that could would be dwarves.
No, elves, they have plenty of time to build up an immunity.
From age 1, here, son, suckle on this. It's
Yeah,
one.
the dwarves come by it naturally, though.
They have beer flowing through their veins.
So, shall we get into the Ale Association versus In-League debate?
I don't know. I don't even know how to get into the Ale Association yet.
I didn't know there was an ale association.
I found out.
You have to go. You have to go up to the bar inside Thorin's Hall during a festival event,
Ah,
and that's where the starter quest is for it.
okay.
No,
I'll
it's
have to
going
probably
on
go
right
up there on my dwarf.
I do like Thorin's Hall. I really... That's probably my favorite part of the game.
Yeah, there's some good music up in Ered Luin. I like the music.
Not really.
Yeah, well, I like the music up there. That's all a matter of taste, Randy.
Well, that's also because you're in the Dwarven areas.
I love the Dwarven architecture, though. Just like the big, blocky...
See, in my
It's
personal
like
opinion, it looked really
design.
bland. See, in my honest opinion, it looked really bland up in the Dwarven lands, to be honest. It just never appealed to me. I like all the fancy swirly things that the elves have.
Yeah, all the
It drives other people nuts.
The fancy swirly things that all the elves have that are crumbling into dust and laying around on the ground in ruin.
That's only the ruins. It's only the ruins, and that's only because no one's been taking care of it. If dwarves had the ruins, they'd be looking the same. Not to mention they'd be housing goblins.
Okay, was there anything else anyone wanted to mention before we get into kind of what Randy wanted to say?
Nope. Crickets.
Okay, Rand.
Okay.
You can go ahead with
Okay,
your point of view.
so you're taking the leash off me now.
Yep.
Oh
Okay.
God, here we go.
All right. It's been a very interesting week for me. Like I said, I had no urge to play this game. Period. I generally the fantasy MMO is not my style. Let's see. The last fantasy MMO I played was I play Age of Conan sporadically, very sporadically. Really, I've gotten to about, I think, level 50 on that game. And I really stopped having the urge to go any further. Before that, I was playing Perfect World. And I forget how far I got on that game, but it was much the same thing. It's just, I looked at the quest lines and went, not again.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a lot of our reactions at the time.
And I eventually uninstalled that game. Haven't been back. So I was really not intending to play this game. And when I decided to install it for the podcast was it last Tuesday night, I think? Yeah, I think so. I installed it, and I was thinking, okay, I'll try it for a week, and then I'll just uninstall it. Well, here it's been a week, and here's been my thoughts thus far. Graphically, this is probably one of the top 3 games I've played. It is not as graphically nice as The Secret World, and it goes about hand-on-hand graphics-wise with DC Universe Online, which, despite any flaws that DC Universe has, is a very beautiful game. Sound, Sarah says she likes the music. I'm personally not that fond of it. It got to the point at one point where I was in Ered Luin, around the main city there, and I kind of had to turn off the music and turn on other music from other ones, Age of Conan, Lord of the Rings soundtrack, anything else, to have it get a more appropriate feel to me. The music just wasn't fitting the atmosphere, in my opinion. The first 20 levels, you really feel like your character's a tool. You really do. He's pretty much every contact's butt monkey. As Matt said, there was one particular... There's a few missions that I've gotten to now where it really annoys the hell out of me, where it's basically, it's like, okay, go collect rocks. Okay, you've got rocks. We're using it to make mortar. Now mortar up the cracks in the walls.
Yeah, if you don't like doing that, don't play a Hobbit, because you will do nothing but that kind of crap for the entire Shire map.
I can attest to that. I'm a Hobbit, and I am playing through the Shire map.
Yeah, my Hobbit is my slowest to level because of that.
Mm-hmm.
You'll notice that Erin's title is... Actually, you guys probably can't see it. Her title is Handyman.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that's pretty much what you feel like. Because it's a lot of that. It's, they're talking about how different it is from being WoW. This game is a WoW clone in the aspect of that it's very much a lot of fetch and carry quests, a lot of kill X things for X items that have a not 100% chance to drop out the corpse thing. Kill X amount of monsters, etc., are a lot of the quests that you will receive. My problem is that really these first 20 levels, you wind up really in the shadow of the epic book characters from Lord of the Rings. The worst of which, and I'm pretty sure I will be unanimously agreed with here, is Tom fucking Bombadil.
Oh, good God,
Yeah.
yes. Now, here's the thing about that. That's the reason I hated Tom Bombadil in the books. So, he's doing that, yes, but it's canonical. I can't argue with that.
I can, because I watched him move yesterday, and I went, oh my God, It's Tingle from The Legend of Zelda. I will no longer hear... I've read Lord of the Rings a few times. It was a habit of mine, very funny me, a hobby of mine, through most of my teenage years to read it once every 3 to 4 years. And I continued that pretty much into my mid-20s. I still have a thick-bound copy of the entire trilogy somewhere floating around my house. I was planning on rereading The Hobbit again fairly soon because the movie's coming out. That's, by the way, another habit.
It occupies a spot on my Kindle. It is always with me.
But I had always imagined Tom Bombadil, kind of deep, booming, gregarious, a bit of a dick, but a gregarious person, kind of like an annoying Santa of the forest. I will never be able to see him in that way again.
See, I always pictured him as a tenor, which made him much more thin and willowy for me, I guess. But
he's a cross between Tingle from Legend of Zelda and a hillbilly.
Hey, dearie do.
Yeah, it's you hear that, only you now hear it being done with the Tingle voice, which now freaks me the hell out. I still have most of his quest line to do, because I've been procrastinating doing it. I will go, is there anything in this level I can do before continuing his quest line?
Yeah, that's kind of my feelings about the whole Old Forest. I'm just not a big fan of the run around in a maze where things will kill you and jump out of the dark and kill you.
Yeah.
Just let me go through.
It didn't bother me that much. But then again, I'm running around the forest with over 1,000 hit points going, hit me! I pretty much just killed shit in there. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It was therapy.
Yeah.
Still,
I tend to just take the road and jump straight to the Barrow Downs.
I went through the Old Forest. I like the Old Forest. I like the Barrow Downs for the most part. But really only in the last 24 hours have I actually started reversing any decision I had. If we had done this podcast yesterday, which we couldn't because we were doing another podcast, at least Matt and myself, I would have probably still uninstalled this game following this podcast. Not only am I not planning to uninstall it, I'm actually considering subbing for a month. I don't know if it'll be this month.
And Sarah cheers.
I was actually, just before the podcast, looking at what you get for being a VIP versus, what you get and what you retain. Unfortunately, you do not retain as much as I'd like. A lot of other games, if you, sub up for a month, you get all the expansions, you keep the expansions, not here. Here you can continue any quest or quest lines you're on, but after that it goes back to all being locked out.
Yeah, that's why I'm much more fond of the free-to-play model, because when you buy a quest pack, you've bought that quest pack. It doesn't go away after a certain amount of time. So it's really, like, you buy a quest pack for, like, I think it's like $10 a quest pack.
Yeah.
To get a region, and you have it for good.
Yeah, but that's
it's account-wide.
Quest pack. The other thing about it is that when you sub up, you get 500 turbine points a month. So yeah. I'm thinking of being a slightly devious bastard. This would be generally me when it comes to stuff like this. And what I am thinking about doing is grinding turbine points, subbing up until I can actually buy a full expansion.
Yeah.
Because you get, like the expansion quest for Isengard right now is on sale for 1,000 turbine points. Yeah. If I subbed up right now, I would be sitting on 700 turbine points, which leaves me only with another 500 to grind. I can do that. It would hurt, but I could do that. I have two
Special note, we are currently 5 days and 31 minutes away from the launch of Riders of Rohan, the expansion. Just FYI.
Which might mean we might be back here in a month recovering the expansion.
Well, that's going to be like levels, I think, 75 to 85, which I am nowhere near. So I'm not going to be able to get in.
In a month, I might be there if I actually worked at it.
You're just going to show me up now, aren't you?
Yes.
I do this. When I power game, I mean, I got 23 levels in a week, plus 14 on another alt. And the other alt I rolled just because I needed someone that I could pass furs to so I could turn them into leather. And instead, I started grinding out quests. I started grinding out the Bree quests, kind of got Star Trek, and I've been doing the Shire quests. Why? Because I just kind of wandered.
It is a great game for wandering in.
It's like I see a little NPC with a ring over his head. I'm just like, quest, gimme.
Yeah. Well, there actually is a deed for just wandering around the game map. It's called The Adventures of Floyd and Dewitt. There's a couple of NPCs. It's a guy and his horse that are just hanging out in little secluded corners of some of the game maps, and the deed is to find all these spots. I have found the spot that he is on top of Weathertop in the Lone Lands, and that's as far as I've gotten with it so far, but...
Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of deeds I still need to actually finish on this one alone. I've, just for Bree, I'm still missing like 3 out of the 8 flowers in the old forest.
Oh, yeah.
I have to kill a bunch more trees.
Trees!
I've got a whole bunch more of the barrow whites to kill. I'm not surprised there. I've only actually been into 1 barrow thus far.
Tree killer.
We ate it. We really, it was Matt and I wandered into it, and we just killed everything in there. I'm like, ooh, that's a boss. What? Ooh, that's a boss. I'm going to punch it in the schnoz.
Yeah. One of these days, I'm just going to have to go back and do all the deeds I haven't finished on my main here, Megalodon, because he's lacking in the virtues, or whatever those are called.
I get kind of anal about it. I mean, when I finally left Arid Luin, I don't have a deed left I can do in Arid Luin.
Yeah, I did that with my very first tune on Dwarodelf, which was Hadoriel. And then my plan was to move into the Shire and do the same thing there. But then I hated the Shire so much that I was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me that much, especially when I can go into an area overpowered.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Then I can just basically take an hour and go, I'm hacking up the puppies,
Have you gotten the deeds for doing the postal quests in the Shire, though, Rand?
My minstrel, my other character, has gotten one of them thus far.
Mm.
I hate them.
Yeah, carry quests. Everybody hates the carry quests.
Them and the effing pies are pretty much... Yeah, okay, let me explain this to the people listening. There are 2 sets of quests you can get in the Shire. There's a lot of fetch and carry quests in the game. I just got one today where I had to carry a bucket of water to an area, do some stuff, and then carry it back.
Oh, is that in Bree? Yeah, I know that one.
That was down in Stadel. I was doing old quests just to get them out of, just so I didn't see rings over people's heads and go, ooh. But so I was going through all of that, and I'm doing the same thing on the Minstrel, and in the Shire, you have that, but it's with a twist. You have to, in one place, you have to carry a satchel full of mail from from Village A to Village B in the Shire. The twist is, there are several little NPC hobbits running around the roads and occasionally off the roads called nosy hobbits. If you get within a certain amount of distance of these little bastards, you automatically fail the quest and have to start it over. Because apparently they're like, ooh, what's that? The second one is, there's a lady that makes pies in pretty much the central part of the Shire. You have to deliver pies to 2 different areas, and there are characters called hungry hobbits. who will apparently try to eat your pie if you get too close.
Nom, 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 nom.
Now, you find out later doing the quest line that these pies are actually bad. And so you'll wind up in various areas of people that bought her pies, and you now have to return them from the far corners of the Shire back to there. Again, avoiding these stupid hungry hobbits who apparently will eat poisoned pies.
Because
Well, they
hobbits
got
have nothing
the
better to do.
Let them! I say death by Darwinism. Let them
Yes,
eat the
you
poison.
are repeating the sentiments of pretty much every LOTRO player ever. Every single LOTRO player has done the quick post and has done the pies, and everybody hates them. But we all do them because we are slaves to the task.
Actually, I'm slaves to farming turbine points. That's the interesting thing about this game. Most MMOs that go free to play are like, yeah, so we're not going to be making money from subscriptions. We're going to be finding ways of milking you for money. Turbine does that, but yet at the same time, they have workarounds for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can farm every deed in the game, and a few other things will award you turbine points for use in the in-game store. I think their plan is that, excuse me, you will almost earn up enough turbine points for something, and finally break down and buy points to actually finish it off. However, a truly, truly, truly determined person, I'm being relatively determined here, might actually, farm up enough to do stuff, to get most of what they want for free. I am, like I said, thinking about subbing up for a month, but there's some other benefits besides the expansion packs. There's other stuff that you would have to get from the store. Like, I would apparently, my tunes that would be up for that month would have access to all the bags instead of just the 3 you start out with. You get access to the 4th, 5th, and when the next expansion comes out, the 6th bag.
And if you've pre-bought the expansion, you already have the 6th bag. I love my 6th bag.
Fight me, Sarah.
That is actually probably one of the reasons why I want to buy the new Rohan expansion, just for the 6th bag. My bags are getting
it's very
so full.
handy. It's very, very handy.
I've been hard managing 3 bags for the last week. I miss AO, where I can buy an inventory full of bags and just shove stuff in bags all constantly.
Bags within bags.
I miss Champions Online, where if your bags are not enough, you just buy bigger bags.
Actually, I've been doing that on there a little bit too. Oh,
Yeah.
look, I got a tiny little bag. Oh, look, I can afford a much bigger bag. There.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. Is I have enough carrot stuff left in my, and that's another reason I want to sub for this. I think if you actually pay, you actually get access to the account bank.
Mm-hmm.
So I could stop mailing furs between my characters.
Yeah, the shared vault is so incredibly handy, especially if you've got multiple tunes with multiple professions.
Yeah,
That's the top thing I use it for is sharing food back and forth and sharing resources back and forth.
I'd be throwing my food in there just for my minstrel. I never use food on this tune. He
And
basically
yet he's a dwarf.
he's a
Go
dwarf.
figure.
He doesn't need it for the regen in battle because he just kills shit.
Yeah, especially it looks like you're a guardian.
Oh hell yes.
Yeah, those are tank central. You can go forever on a guardian.
Yeah, I've been making fun of Matt most of the day because I've had about twice his hit points.
Yeah.
I have the second smallest hit points here. The Hobbit has small.
Yeah, I'm looking at Sarah at level 46 and going, yeah, I'm almost there.
Yeah.
She has
Yeah, that's because I'm a champion.
814 hit points, and I've got 1,614, and I'm half her level.
Yeah, but I have a ranged attack, bitch. Suck it.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw throwing axes somewhere. I'm thinking about
Yeah,
going to...
yeah, those are consumables. You have to keep crafting those. The champions at a certain level, I can't remember what level it is because I've had it for a while now, get a just ranged attack. And that's really nice when you need to pull one enemy at a time. Because, man, let me tell you, there's sometimes you need to pull one enemy at a time.
No, 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 I don't.
Yeah, you'll run into it eventually.
No, I won't. I'll just take 2 or 3 of them and just like, come here, bitch. I got AoEs.
So, Randy, have you died on that character yet? Or are you still working on the survival lead?
I actually got killed by Matt earlier.
Got killed by Matt?
I was training through a bandit camp, and I had about 6, 7 other suckers on me. I was busy mowing them down, and he opens up a treasure chest, and I get just the spam of pass or roll.
Oh, pass roll.
Pop up.
Oh, by the way, that wasn't a treasure chest. That was actually a bandit I killed.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's some nice loot drops off of some of the bandits in Freeland. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was just like all this stuff just popped up in my face. I'm like, what the hell is this? I can't see what I'm doing. See, oh fuck, I'm dead.
Getting slapped. Whoops.
I'm like, God damn it, Matt.
The hunter has killed the guardian. I win.
Hey, you know what? That's still better than the way I died the first time. The very first time I died on LOTRO, I was playing my first tune on Dwarf, Hadoriel, and she was an elf, so she was down in the elf starter area, which is Kalandim and Dueland. And I was just getting into Dueland for the first time, and just kind of making my way around, and I was going up the stairs, and then suddenly the stairs weren't there. And I fell off the giant cliff, and suddenly I was dead. I'm like, oh, there's falling damage in this game.
I have not taken enough fall damage to actually kill me. I've broken my legs a few times and had to gimp for about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
My bum knee.
It's pretty rare, but when you fall off a really big cliff, you're gonna die. Apparently there is actually a deed in Mines of Moria where that's the point, is to jump off big, huge cliffs.
Great.
Yeah.
I realize now I will have to locate that deed. And
Now you realize we're going to have to do a video where we're like lemmings walking off the cliff.
Oh god, Randy, we're gonna have to find one big enough for you to jump off of and die.
Yeah.
That'll be the challenge.
You realize by the time we get to Moria, I'm going to have like 3,000 hit points, don't you?
Chase after the Balrog. That was a hell of a fall.
You shall not pass. You shall not dwarf from above.
Rand's inspired me to make a guardian dwarf now.
Oh god, it's fun. Ed said it was boring. It's fun.
I'm so sick of dying so easily, and my hobbit is not leveling very quickly.
This formation I'm in is technically my defensive formation with the shield. I haven't been using this in a while because I've been using a two-handed axe.
Oh, you've been doing the overpower?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've always sword and boarded it on my guardian.
No, it really depends. I've been at the point where most of the quests I've been doing are light blue to blue.
Oh, sure.
So I don't have to fight defensively. I'm overpowering everything there automatically. Let's just go for maximum killage. Get the big frickin' axe going. And just, axe wants a drinky drink. Chop, 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 chop.
You're about to hit the point where doing the dark blue, light blue quests will turn your leveling into painfully slow. It's about mid-20s where it starts to, the leveling just slows down a lot, especially if you get caught up in the blue
I'm not doing the quest to level, I'm doing the quest to do the quests.
Yeah, you get the most XP off of quests, so.
Yeah, it's not really, I'm worried about that. Now,
Yeah.
eventually I'll hit the point where if I'm not getting that much off the blue quests, I'll run out of blue quests.
Yeah.
That's what I've been looking for that. Right now, there's more quests than I have a level bar.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of hoping I'll eventually hit some kind of, point where I'll have more level XP than I have quests, so I'll actually get to the quests I'm supposed to be doing at this level.
Yeah.
Or I'll wander into the Shire and do all their quests. And then I'll wander back up to Ered Luin and go into the Elflands and do their quests.
Yeah.
Just to get all the quests done, all the little progress bars done, as much progress with each group as I can, and earn up as many turbine points as, dwarvenly possible.
Have you guys been farming up reputation at all?
I have. Especially since I've been in the Barrow Downs, it's been easy for me to basically just rack up a frick ton of the little purple salvage stuff, and then head back into Bree and go, okay, what can I turn in for my tasks? Oh, look, I'm out of tasks. I still got more loot. I'll just save it for tomorrow.
I'm about halfway through Acquaintance for Men of Bree.
Let's see, where am I? I'm actually a friend of Bree now.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys know about the Barrow Treasure, right? You turned that in for really quick reputation, too?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what he was mentioning, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually kindred with Bree, which is really nice because then you can get the Return to Bree travel skill, which does not take up one of your travel skill slots. It's an independent skill. It's nice. I'm just about. It looks like I'm just about to. Is it friend and then ally, or is it ally then friend? I think it's friend then ally.
It's friend then ally.
Yeah, and so I'm actually pretty close to being kindred with Wardens of Innuminos, too.
Because friend is like the tier 3 reputation. Because it's neutral, acquaintance, friend, ally. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Forohel is interesting in that you don't start out as neutral. You start out as outsider, which is a step below neutral. So you have to earn your way into, you're just a guy.
Sarah, you're the Lord of the Rings geek. I have a question for you.
Okay.
What the fuck is the Aglain?
The Aglain are, they're almost... They're kind of some of the folks that live obviously in the Northlands. There's not really a whole ton of information about them, at least that I've been able to find. There's some sort of offshoot kind of mixing of Dunedain and regular men. They're just sort of in between a little bit. They're kind of odd. It's a little bit hard to pin them down sometimes.
Okay, I've been wondering because I like I mentioned, I like to do crafting. So a couple days ago, I kind of wandered out by Weathertop and out past there to get some, high quality iron for tier 3 crafting. While I was out there, I got aggroed by something. I'd been avoiding it. It's like, oh, no, gonna die. This one, I'm just like, screw it. Turned around, pulled out the axe, proceeded to pretty much kick its ass. And then it's like, as I've killed it, it's like, you've received 8 reputation with the Aglain. I'm like, who the fuck's the Aglain?
Yeah, the who with the what now? Yeah.
I mean, up till now, I've been knowing who I've been dealing with for reputation. Some of it was a little, what the hell? I mean, okay, Men of Bree, that's fucking obvious.
Yeah.
Thorin's Hall. Considering I'm a dwarf, I started at Thorin's Hall, that's also fucking obvious. Elves of Rivendell. Fucking obvious.
Yeah.
The Matham Society, that one confused me a bit until I realized it was the Shire.
Yeah.
I still don't know the backstory behind them.
Mathams are just, random useless trinkets, and the hobbits collect them. It's completely canonical for hobbits to collect them, and they store them in this place called the Matham Hall, and that's what they decided to do with it. Well, I love the title that you get when you get kindred with the Matham Society. It's purveyor of odd things. I really want that on my burglar, who is a toy maker from Breeland, in RPG terms. I really want that title on him.
Awesome.
Yeah. it's kind of interesting for some of it, and the rest of it you're just like, what the hell? Like I mentioned earlier, I do wish they would do a little something with the 1 to 20 quest, so you don't feel as much of a butt monkey. I mean, this is something that also DC Universe Online has a bit, that you kind of feel like you're in the shadow of, the epic DC heroes in that game. And here, it's taken to, a certain extent to the fact that, you wind up running into the big bads, and because the devs have decided, of course, you're not powerful enough to deal with the big bads, you wind up looking like a complete and total tool.
You wind up shivering on the side of the road in fear.
Yeah. You wind up shivering and quaking. And really, if they're going to do that, they shouldn't really have included that in the startup.
Now, here's a new argument for you. I know that you and I kind of talked about this a lot a couple days ago, but here's a new angle for you on that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the hobbits felt when they were first leaving the Shire. I mean, Bilbo, of course, left the Shire and came back a couple times. He went back and forth to Rivendell a few times. Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin, they had never left the Shire. And then all of a sudden, holy crap, Nazgul. So in a way, there's sort of, I think there's a certain amount of they're trying to capture that aspect of it. And I think that's actually kind of cool myself. But it's also kind of a throwback to D&D, where when you're first level, you're doing fetch quests and saving the Baron from the kobolds.
You are, but the thing about D&D and you being level 1, and don't mention the Baron and kobolds ever. You're D&D level 1. They're not going to bring you up against, like
your
the epic
dragon.
Big bad. Yeah. No, you can wind up a dragon at level 1. There's several modules that have you do it. Albeit it's a really baby dragon, and it's usually been knocked down to about 4 hit points.
Yeah, what's that story I keep hearing about the company of the devoured dragon? Was it?
Yeah, that was epic use of a magic item, a Bag of Devouring. That wasn't a game I was in. I've just heard about it too. But yeah, they basically swallowed the dragon with the Bag of Devouring.
You got a dragon in your pocket.
Or were you just happy to see them? Yeah. But yeah, it's it's just the fact that you don't need to stand out so much. But yeah, you in G&D, you don't if you're playing that, you don't usually wind up fighting. I can't really think of a D&D ultra big bad. You don't wind up fighting like.
Lulth?
If you're playing the Forgotten Realms, you don't wind up fighting Lulth at level 1.
Unless your GM's a dick.
And that's the point. Here they basically throw you up against the Nazgul at level 1 or 2 or whatever this is. And then, of course, they decide, you couldn't fight the Nazgul there. So they basically have you shake and have your candy ass be rescued by the big bads of the book. Which, considering you were sent out to at least help, really makes you feel like a tool.
I'll be honest, when I first saw the Nazgul in the very, very opening instance, when you're first introduced into the world, I was terrified. I was like, oh my god, I don't know if I can fight this. I don't even know how to hold my sword yet.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. I think that was kind of the point that they were after. I can't really speak to what the devs were trying to do.
I can honestly, I can see where they're going with that in the beginning portion. But when you get to the point, like during the prologue, when you're trying to stop the evil dwarf from being risen from the dead, and you're literally just standing there for way too long and get knocked dizzy.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a long suspension of disbelief there.
Yeah. That one's a little bit more obnoxious than it needed to be. Yeah. It still doesn't hold a candle to Tom Bombadil rescuing your ass after you spent time grinding down the final boss in that barrel.
It hasn't been
not
there
once,
yet.
but twice.
Yeah, it's even like the Dwarven startup, where you're basically supposed to be helping Gimli fight a troll. And you fight your way there. You get all the way within sight distance of Gimli trying to deal with this troll. The troll freaking stuns you, so Gandalf the Grey can come out and be the hero of the day.
Yeah.
That really just is like, gee, thanks. Well, now I feel like I wasted 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was a bit disappointing.
And that's kind of the point where that's really going to turn off a lot of new players. It nearly turned me off. It was only because I wanted to give this a full, impartial review. I didn't uninstall the game right there, to be honest.
Well,
And
we appreciate that.
what?
Well, those of us who like the game appreciate that, man.
Once you get to be about level 20, you start getting some epic missions. You get sent to the Barrow Downs, and you're either going to die a lot in the Barrow Downs, like Matt.
Yeah, I did
Or-
that.
Hey, I've only died twice.
Or you're going to be like me, wading into the Barrow Downs and just taking down anything that comes your way, preferably in groups of 3 to 4.
I only died twice, and that was before I got the new bow, which does almost 3 times the damage I was originally doing.
Matt had a little problem of not letting the tank get the aggro before starting to shoot with the bow.
That's because the tank was taking too long.
Because the tank
You
had
see,
to run down on foot. You've got to remember the tank is a melee.
The tank
Yes,
is a tank.
Scoot, hurry up. Well, fine, I'm going to start shooting then. It's going to take them a while to walk up here anyways.
And then it's like, oh crap, no it didn't. Oh no it didn't. And so I'm sitting here fighting out one of them. One of them has been ignoring me completely, turns and just proceeds to beat the shit out of Matt.
Actually, no, I remember about 3 or 4 of them chasing me around the particular
That
area.
one I couldn't get ag from you. I sat there and I finally fired off my taunt, but by the time my taunt went off, which by the way has an incantation time, actually they killed you. I think also the fact that when I jumped down, it actually spawned 2 more barrel whites.
Yeah, which suddenly crawled up behind me, to which I turned around and went, ah!
And how many times have we all failed the Lalia quest?
Oh, I haven't failed it because I've always
None.
accompanied other people for it.
None. Never failed. Never failed.
Oh god, it's easier to do. Like that's a quest that's much easier to do on a tank character, on a melee character.
Oh yeah.
If you're on a hunter, or a rune keeper, you're gonna fail it probably. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I will say that I had just gotten taunt before I went out there and did it, and it was simply like, oh look, they're spawning barrow whites.
Anyone want to explain the Lalia quest?
Okay,
Oh,
I'll
really?
do this, because I just did this. So
Yeah, I
while
have
you're,
avoided
while
it as
you're
much as
wandering through the Barrow Downs, you find this little girl crying in the middle of everything, and it's your job to escort her to safety. She's apparently the love child of Leroy Etta Jenkins and Ryoga Hibiki. Because she wanders aimlessly throughout the Barrow Downs, heading straight for monsters, occasionally moving at the speed of, oh my god, will you fucking move, or, Jesus, stop running ahead!
Yeah, and whenever it's Jesus stop running ahead, she's always running straight toward a mob. It's obnoxious as hell.
There's a deed in the Barrow Downs for collecting these pages, and one of the whites that I had just killed, that had spawned around her, had dropped one of these pages, but my inventory was full, so I'm trying to shuffle through my inventory finding something. Well, she runs ahead and nearly gets her ass killed by 2 Barghists at the bottom of the hill. So I'm just like, oh crap, run! It took me another 24 hours before I finally found that page again.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, Jesus, girl. Because first she has to find her cloak. And for some reason, she left her cloak, like, right at the edge of one of the biggest, nastiest spawns in the Northern Barrow Downs.
Mm-hmm.
Then she runs around and she spawns the freaking White Prince. Who, he's a pussy. I'm just going to say it right now. I killed his ass so hard. And then she will eventually wander her way around through there, getting lost a couple times, and take you out the Northern Pass. At which point the quest is over. Mind you, she's either spawned about half a dozen whites over the course, and has probably run into a dozen Barghists, spiders, snakes, whatever the hell else is up there. Rats! Big
Rats. The freaking ROUSs!
And I didn't lose. She's just annoying as hell.
Yeah, I have stopped doing that quest whenever I get a character into that area again, because I'm like, oh look, it's Lalia. Goodbye, Lalia.
If I'm still in game, just message me. I'll come out and I'll play escort.
Yeah, seriously, I ran it only once because of him.
Yeah, because it's easy for me. It's just spawn, taunt.
Yeah, it's not a hard quest to do. It's just annoying.
Well, I'll kind of, even if I'm at a high level and you're a lowbie, I'll just pocket it for you. Basically, what'll happen is whenever they spawn something, I'll just taunt them, and then you'll just sit there and pick them off while I stand there.
Yeah. It's mostly that I just don't like the quest.
If you've got a taunter, it's not that bad, especially if you know what's coming. But yeah, it's an escort mission. Let's face it. If you're listening to this, you're an MMO player. Escort missions, regardless of what game you're on, suck.
The other really sucky one is Sarah Oakart in the human intro quests line.
Yes,
interesting.
know her. Because
it's like
the speed of slow.
Yeah, it's like, oh, for the love of God, woman, will you walk?
Yeah, that was interesting.
He has hobble and hobble slower.
And rather than escaping the scary dungeon full of bandits, she has to find her stick first.
Oh, yes.
I'm like, lady, get out of here. I know somebody with woodworking. She'll carve you a new stick.
Apparently that becomes important later in the epic storyline, but for when you're still low levels, it's like, woman, leave it.
Massively actually asked its viewers what was the most annoying NPC you've ever had to deal with, and most of the people said Sarah Oakart from LOTRO.
No. I'm sorry. They obviously never played City of Heroes. Sarah Oakart still does not hold a candle to Lady fucking Jane.
Oh, heck no.
You've not played City of Heroes, Sarah, so I'll say that there's a mission in the Midnighters arc of City of Heroes where you have to rescue this Lady Jane, who's been held by one of the magical enemy, the Circle of Thorns. Once you rescue her, you have to take her to a chest in the mission. The thing is, she is made of pure Leroy Jenkins without any ability to tank or hold aggro.
Oh, God.
She is a dual pistol build, so she basically jumps in and will get her ass killed if you do not have a healer or anybody to pull ag off of her. And if I'm playing any other tune, my goal is I kill every other mob in the map before rescuing her.
Yeah.
Because there's no other way to do it without failing that mission.
Yeah, that's pretty annoying.
Yeah, that is by far the most annoying escort mission I've ever seen. It beats even the one from the Barrow Downs.
Damn, that's saying a lot, man.
Yeah. And yes, I actually found the little girl more annoying than Sarah Oakart. She's just slow.
Yeah, Sarah Oakart you can at least deal with. You just have to have patience.
Yeah.
Like, Lalia is just, I'm going to run straight at a giant mob at my top speed. Whee!
Yeah, Sarah Oakart, it's just, you run ahead. Oh, look, there's guys on the ground here. Wait. Eat an apple. Read a book. Wait. Okay, she's here. Kill. Move on to the next one. Where was I in my book? Yeah. You just need patience.
Yeah.
In the case of the little girl, patience will get you killed. Or, will get her killed, which will make the quest fail.
Yeah.
It'll make you happy because she deserves it.
The thing I find most hilarious about Lalia is that she went out there believing a story that Butterbur told. What the hell's wrong with her?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I think thus far I don't think I found anybody. I don't think I found anybody around here that has passed my Darwin check. I know none of the hobbits have passed my Darwin check. Fuck no.
Hey! I'm a hobbit.
NPC hobbits.
Oh, okay.
The quest. There's one where you're like become a member of the Bounders. You run out to 2 hobbits that are throwing sticks at a tree, and they get attacked by bees.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, you fucking idiots! And then of course, you kill the bees. What do? They start throwing sticks. They start throwing rocks at the tree again. They knock down the hive, which attracts bears. So you have to protect them from the bears. I'm just like, you do one more thing, I'm going to let it kill you. Because you no longer deserve to live. You fail.
Yeah, that actually is pretty much the heart of what I couldn't stand about the Shire, is that the hobbits don't have much to do, but do stupid things that would get them killed, pick on each other, eat, or drink. That's it. They don't do anything else.
I don't mind the eat or drink part. That is part of the hobbits. They
Yeah.
have food, drink, and pipe
weed.
Yeah.
Murderous midget vestiges.
Pretty much it. I mentioned earlier, I think Matt would make a good hobbit if you put prosthetic feet on him.
Hey, I'm not murderous. I'm just slightly psychotic.
You're the one that had lunch and then an hour later was looking for more food. You apparently wanted 11sies. Yeah, I've been talking to Matt all day. We've been on LOTRO since like 9 this morning.
More like 10-ish, but yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Only I had to take a break to drive my car around and hope the battery holds this time. Anyway, but no, most of the Hobbit quests fail their intelligence rolls. A few of them I get, because I grew up in rural Wisconsin. So, I did, Matt. The village I grew up for like 5 through 8 was population of 165.
Ugh. I thought Mayville was small.
Yeah, this was a blink and you missed it town. So I grew up around farm people. Later on, I moved to Fenimore, which was a population of 5,000. It was like moving to a city. You can imagine my surprise after that moving to Middleton, and of course the Madison area, which is over 1 million people in population.
Yeah, the greater Madison area. Madison itself is like 300,000.
Yeah, but once you include Middleton and Middleton and Sun Prairie and
Fitchburg and Cottage Grove, all them, yeah.
Yeah. It's huge.
This has been your geography lesson for the day.
Yeah.
Sign up.
Yeah, basically Dane County in Wisconsin has over 1 million people in it, so it's like moving there from like little place in, Iowa County's just like, okay.
No pun intended, but you're getting far afield of the point, I think.
But no, well the thing is though, going from those small towns, you do get some of the rural mentality that you see in the Shire. Like the guy that's so worried sick because his cow's gone missing.
Oh, that made me so sad when you find the cow and there's the stone troll, but you find the cow and it's out in the marsh. Oh, that made me so sad. I won't spoil it for people. I don't know.
Well, they kind of spoiled it, but
yeah, it's dead.
Yeah,
It's pretty gruesome too.
Yeah.
But it's things like that do remind me of rural farming communities. They do have a very rural social mentality. And yes, you do get into these small towns, and they are notorious gossips. Mm-hmm. Most of their social gatherings are basically to spread gossip.
Pretty much.
So that part doesn't bother me about the Shire. It's the lack of any actual self-preservation instinct that bothers me. I mean, anybody here, you throw a stone at a tree and you summon bees, common sense tells you don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
hey, it hurt when I did that. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Hobbits apparently in this game do not possess any form of self-preservation instinct.
You wonder why so few
They
of them
throw
are
a rock
left.
at a tree, they get stung by bees, like, oh, that won't happen again. Throw another rock. That's
It's madness.
stupidity.
It's madness.
That's actually it's actually well established in the books as the reason that Sharky is able to move in and take over so easily, though. It takes Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin coming back and going, "What the hell, guys? Get up off your asses and fight!"
There's a difference between placidity and not having common sense.
I will grant you that.
Hey, Matt,
That's
you're
the
AFK.
thing. They were supposed to be placid, passive people. They weren't supposed to be throwing rocks at trees and not having enough common sense to know, hey, look, that hurt. That is annoying about about the Shire. And it's only really the Shire. The quests in Eredlune were decent, though, like I said, they did make you feel a little bit like a tool. The quests in Bree really made you feel like a tool.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done the elf quests. If I up for a
The
month.
elf quests, I think they're a little bit better than
elf
some of the other ones. The elf quests are mostly you essentially helping other elves take care of things before a lot of the other elves move on.
Yeah, like the,
there's
the goblins taking over the vineyard, and you have to kind of get rid of the goblins in the vineyard so they can harvest the grapes and make the wine.
The elf area does have one of my favorite quests, at least for the low levels, which and it's all completely for story reasons. I like this quest because it's essentially the quest is you're carrying letters back and forth between two elf brothers, and they're having a debate over whether or not to take the ships into the west and the reasons that they end up that they want to go or the reasons they want to stay and that sort of thing. And it's really interesting. And that was the quest where I knew that the devs knew their stuff. Because they got the implications of what going into the West meant. They got the implications of what staying meant to an elf. All of that. They got that, and I'm like, yes, finally, somebody I don't have to explain this to at length. Because that's one of my pet peeves about the Lord of the Rings fandom is people who think elves can come back from the West. It's like, no, that's not going to happen. You don't get it.
No, it's a one-way trip. I got that.
Yeah.
Once they go to the West, they're not coming back.
Yeah, and like the implications of elven immortality are just really interesting. And
the only ones
there's
that
a lot of people who don't get it.
Possibly come back would be Gandalf and the others, and even so, they wouldn't be the same people.
Yeah, no, actually, I'm pretty sure that it's. I'm pretty sure it's established somewhere that there's pretty much no way and no reason for them to come back after they go back.
That's theoretically capable of coming back.
Yeah.
They have no reason to, but no.
Yeah.
The only ones that would have the power to.
Yeah. Yeah, and even then, though, the 5 wizards actually had to be sent from the West.
That's what I mean. If the situation became dire enough, they could be sent again. The thing is, they really wouldn't be the same people.
Yeah, and there's sort of the implication that the Valar have decided that they've mucked things up in Middle Earth enough, and they're not going to. So
yeah, they've learned. Don't touch that.
Yeah, pretty much.
The doctor hurts when I touch that. Don't touch that.
Yeah. When you stop and think about it, they really kind of screwed over the elves by taking them to Valinor in the first place.
But if you think about it, that means that they've just shown more common sense than the hobbits do in this game.
Yeah. They learned.
Even the gods, they learned. The hobbits.
Okay, yeah, so I'm glad I got that out of my system.
Was there any closing comments or anything like that? Wow, time just flew
are we at the
here.
closing comments? Because we've only been at this like an hour 15.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that you've enjoyed about the game? Like I said, I'm actually considering playing it more now.
Yeah.
Once you start getting a little higher, you begin to get the epic feel.
I'm beginning to wonder about actually re-rolling this tune.
You're shitting me.
I hate this push.
You've gotten like what 9 or like 4 or 5 levels in the last 2-3 days, and now you're thinking of just deleting and re-rolling. I will say this epically. Then, can I have your stuff?
Mine.
You're not going to be needing it.
Mine. I'm re-rolling.
thing-
We're destroying.
One other thing I will comment on are the 2 classes that are unlockable. I have not yet played a warden. I haven't gotten around to doing that one yet.
Well, if you make warden, I've been apparently purchasing all of the materials to make you armor. So let me know.
Okay, well, yeah, I haven't gotten around to playing one of those
making
yet, but I do have a rune keeper. Those are fun. Those are just fun because you have to think your way through your fights a little bit. You have to kind of plan out your moves. And
That's a healing thing here, and I got my zappers.
Yeah, and it is fun to be able to do enough zappy to get up to the big epic, oh look, I have Sith lightning coming out of my fingers attacks.
Yeah.
Zap.
Yeah, that's pretty rare that you actually end up doing that.
But
the Rune Keeper is actually really fun to play.
That was killing stuff around where I was killing.
And actually, now that you brought them up, Sarah, I was actually going to ask you: do rune keepers actually exist in Tolkien mythology?
There aren't really spellcasters per se, unless there's a damn good reason that they can do it. Gandalf can do it to some extent, even though his mandate is to kind of hide that power, kind of quash that power, because he's a wizard. The bearers of the 3 rings can do a certain amount of that because they're the bearers of the 3 rings. So there's not really, people who can just pull out a spell and start snapping off spells, unlike what the movies would imply with Arwen. I'm not bitter about that at all. But there is a way. I found a workaround RP-wise, in that it's the flavor text for the Rune Keepers is based on your playing with words, you're playing with letters and things like that. And there is a certain amount of feeling in Lord of the Rings where the words are important. There's power behind words. And that's kind of the way I RP that character, is that she calls forth a certain amount of power through the use of words. I also RP her as a very old elf. She's been around since the First Age, so she's seen a lot, and that's kind of my RP reason why she can do that. So I mean, I've heard a lot of criticism about Lord of the Rings doesn't have spellcasters. This is stupid.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
for such a almost stereotypical high fantasy setting, there's not a lot of magic in Lord of the Rings.
No, the magic in Lord of the Rings is pretty subtle, and for the most part, the devs keep to that. It's pretty good.
I do have a warden character on the Dwaro Delve server, and I actually really enjoy it. It's pretty much another tank character, but whereas, as someone was mentioning in the chat, I don't know how well Fraps will pick that up, but someone was mentioning in chat that Guardians are more well sought than Wardens, because Guardians, they use aggro right away, whereas Wardens build up aggro over time.
Yeah.
But
sounds like the difference between tanks and brutes in City of Heroes, really.
Wardens, I guess when they were creating the Warden class, Tekken was an inspiration for them, the console fighting games. So you have like a couple of attacks that can be chained together, and then you can make more complicated chains as you earn more attacks and whatnot.
See, if they ever got far enough in this game that they introduced Men of the East as a playable character, I would so make one of those as a warden.
They might be doing that. I mean, do you guys know about the future expansions for this? For this game?
The rumors that I've heard is that Riders of Rohan is kind of northwestern Rohan, And then the next expansion, it sounds like they're planning is going to be southeastern Rohan. And then after that, there isn't any real clear rumors, but I am really, really, really hoping for Gondor because yay, Gondor.
That would be if they keep going that way, that would be the next step.
It has been announced, and on Massively, this is what I've seen on Massively. You are right, Sarah. It's going to be North Rohan, South Rohan, Gondor, Mordor, and the final area is going to be the eastern part beyond Mordor.
Oh, they're going to get into Rune. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool.
We shall go beyond.
It's just so weird right now that the top, it just seems like the most common human that I see is always Gondorian. Everybody wants to be a Gondorian, and there is no Gondor on the game map yet. It's crazy.
Well, if you look, I was looking at the map on their website, and it was really on the actual Lord of the Rings website, and at the moment, Mirkwood's in the wrong area on their map.
Yeah.
It's actually about on the map. It is directly east of Lothlorien.
That's more or less where it should be.
Should be north of there, shouldn't it?
It's supposed to be a little bit further north than what they've got on there. I'm just walking over to my bookshelf now to pull out my atlas of Middle Earth. How nerdy is that? If I can find it, where did it go? Oh no!
I'm trying to look at the map myself.
Because I'm remembering my mental map, and it was like you've got the Misty Mountains north, you've got like where Rivendell is, you've got the Misty Mountains, and then I thought you had Mirkwood on the other side of the Misty Mountains after a brief kind of valley there with the river, then Mirkwood, and then you had the Lonely Mountain area.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they go through Mirkwood to get to get to Lake Town in The Hobbit. So, I mean, and that still is north of where Lothlorien is because they kind of come down from the north.
Okay, all right. I'm looking at the Rovanian map in game now, and the very bottom of Mirkwood is there where Dol Guldur is.
Yeah,
but still, the map that they had on the website kind of showed the upper part of Mirkwood there, and the lower part down where the Brownlands was.
Yeah. Yeah, the in-game map is better.
Yeah, they really need to fix that on their website, because that was a little confuzzling. And that would be an area that have they actually gotten to that area? No, they need to add that area to the game before they actually start going into Rune.
Yeah.
They need to add the Lonely Mountain area.
Yeah, they've definitely got, like, the Wilderland is kind of, already labeled on their map.
So that wasn't introduced in Isengard. I thought that would be introduced in Isengard.
I think they are introducing Fangorn and the Wold, or is it the Eastham Net and Westham Net? I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure what I haven't been on the Bull Roarer server at all. I don't do the betas at all, so I don't really know what the game map is actually going to look like once the expansion comes out in 5 days. But I think that they would. I don't know that the Brownlands or the Wold or Emyn Muil are going to be in this expansion. They might be in the next one.
I would think they would not be in this expansion. I would suspect. I would expect this expansion to have Fangorn and the Weston meet, and then I would expect the next expansion to have the Wold and the Easton meet.
Yeah.
And then after that, either they will go south into Gondor, or they would go into the Brownlands, Emyn Muil and Dagorlad.
Yeah.
Because those are really, if they keep expanding that way, those are the only two ways they can go. Unless, of course, they decide to skip that for an issue and go north again and add some more to, up north.
Yeah.
Up there in the Northwoods there.
Yeah, I think if they don't do Gondor soon, there's going to be riots.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, the Atlas of Middle Earth, Karen Winfond said, go look it up if you haven't seen it. It does pretty much put Dol Guldur right, pretty much straight east of Lothlorien.
Okay.
So that's pretty accurate right there.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the in-game map is pretty much good for comparison to that. They just need to add. They really at this point mostly what they have is incomplete. Because once they add to this area, they need to add, like you said, Gondor's not here, Mordor's not here. We had a friend that was talking about, how he'd just ignore the quest to automatically grab a horse and ride into Mordor. Except you really can't do that at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't exist on the map.
Yeah.
Poor Andrew.
Yeah, you get as far as, really, if you tried to do that, you would get as far as, like, where? Nan Kermer, I think?
Yeah, Non-Kurenir, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Which is Isengard, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. That's Isengard? Okay.
Yeah, that's Isengard.
I'm just looking on the map, and that's about as far as you can go. I mean, either that or you can, head back into, Lothlorien, Dol Guldur, etc. Even so, you can't go any further than that because there are no maps for that area.
Yeah. Yeah, that's making me crazy because that's kind of the one thing that has kept me from just power grinding my main tune up to top level is that, what will that get me? I might as well sit around here and enjoy it until they put out Gondor. Then I will power grind and get up there because I want to see it.
I'm a quest whore. I'll admit it. Any game you throw me in front of quests, I will sit here and do quests.
Yeah.
That is kind of my thing. I don't care that the quests are green. To me, I don't care that they're blue. They're quests. I must do them.
I do them if they're gray.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
They're quests. I have to do the quests. And eventually, yes, that will wear down on me, like it did with Perfect World, with the fact that, okay, I have fought wolves for the last 30 levels. I am sick of wolves. I am fed up with bears. And fuck the goddamn boars. I don't want to deal with them anymore.
Yeah.
Go the fuck away. Go the fuck to sleep. Whatever. Go the fuck away.
Gonna go over here and we're going to tweak our nanos if you don't mind.
What that'll happen. It'll lead me to burnout. I've said this every time I've done the MMO panel at GeekCon. I will say it here. It's always good to have if you are a dedicated MMO gamer. Sarah's not. She is a Lord of the Rings gamer because she loves Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
I'm an MMO gamer. I game MMOs. This is what I do. I wish I could get paid for this. I wish I could get paid for this, but I can't. But yes, I deal with MMOs.
Well, if this podcast really takes off, Aaron will get paid for this.
And then I could probably split it up with you guys here.
Share the wealth. I'm poor. But yes, always have something. If you are a dedicated MMO gamer, if this is what you do in your spare time, have a reserve MMO. Because you grind too much in an MMO, you will burn out. And at that point, you need to look for something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what happened to me with AO. It just didn't hold my interest, so...
Yeah, it's also not your genre.
Yeah, that too.
That was part of your issue. You're more of a fantasy gamer, and to be honest, fantasy is on the third tier of my MMO list. I prefer either sci-fi or modern day. And largely,
I tend to shuffle back and forth between sci-fi and fantasy myself.
But largely, for me, that's because I think most of what I wind up doing in tabletop role-playing is fantasy.
Yeah.
So I want enough variety that I need to do other things. I don't want to lose myself in fantasy all the time because I'll just burn out faster. So, that will bleed through into my tabletop gaming too. So...
Yeah, I've noticed. Yeah.
Really?
A little bit.
Okay,
Sure
guys.
that wasn't just lack of sleep. Because that will affect my tabletop gaming too. Let me tell you, I've done really stupid things with a lack of sleep.
Haven't we all?
Okay, guys. Is
I
there
remember
anything
one time
else you guys
passing.
wanted to are there any future builds that you guys plan on working on?
If I don't re-roll ale in here, I'm planning to do something else, a little more meat on bones.
Yeah.
If I wind up upping, which will give me additional character slots, otherwise I'm just stuck with the 2. Otherwise, I may play around with an Elven Hunter and eventually a Hobbit.
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm actually kind of thinking Hobbit Guardian.
I've been thinking about trying out one of the pet classes,
You-
either the lore master or the captain. I've got a captain over on Dwaro Delph, and I wasn't terribly fond of it.
Lore Masters are pet.
Yeah, they're the animal pets rather than the people pets. Captains are the people pets.
I've never had an animal pet. I don't think.
Yeah. I've been thinking about it. I'm not generally fond of pet classes, but I'll try anything once, and if it doesn't
you
work
get a
out,
pet
I'll
class
make
to work. It works. Some games it works, other games it doesn't.
Yeah.
And Matt, Hobbit Guardian, really?
But I can punch you right in the nuts.
I actually don't know that you can. I know that there's some classes that are restricted for some of the
You
races.
can be a Hobbit champion.
Yeah, you can be a Hobbit champion. I don't think that you can be a Hobbit guardian. I think that one might be restricted.
I have
Yeah.
to look at that.
I think it's men or dwarves, I think, are the only ones that could be guardians. But
Yeah.
seriously, making a Hobbit Guardian would be like armor plating a freaking beetle.
Chrome
A beetle with a
chrome
punch.
rims and a Pinto.
Dude.
Pintos at least had size.
Oh my gosh, you
I
can
will
be a
punch
Hobbit guardian.
Ha ha!
Actually,
will punch
all
the-
4 of the races can be a guardian. Holy crap.
It's
I
like
will
freaking-
punch.
All the races
Oh.
can be a guardian?
Yeah, there's the
Midget
3
tank.
classes that all the races can be are guardian, hunter, and minstrel.
Oh god, Matt, now you have to make it.
I will punch evil
Midget
so hard in the
tank.
shins it will never be able to stand upright.
That's just wrong. That's just wrong.
Yeah, actually, it's a champion that Hobbit can't be.
I will
Oh.
punch evil in the shins.
If you're gonna be a captain, though, you gotta be human. And no other class, no other race can do captain. Oh yes, I'm just gonna put this plug in right now. Most useful website for playing LOTRO is the LOTRO wiki.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
I've been on that a lot in the last week.
Yeah.
Mostly to,
Also,
mostly to look up deeds.
Yeah. Also, a casual stroll to Mordor is a really good podcast and site. So just
Please,
shout out.
don't plug competing podcasts. Please, no.
What about
They're not- Oh, trust me,
Sarah?
we're not competing with them. They're awesome. They're 10 times. They have about 16,000 times the following.
Yeah. Sarah, what about your kinship? You said you wanted to say something about your kinship?
Yeah, my kinship is common folk. We are an RP kinship, and we are currently recruiting. So if anybody out there is looking
Actually,
for
I
RP
did
kinship,
see a
look us
common
up.
folk this last week, actually.
Yeah.
I did see a couple of them running around like common folk.
Yep, that's us. We're an RP kinship. So if you're looking for an RP kinship, come talk to us.
Yeah, and once again,
Mike,
this is on Landreval
33ts.
server.
Yes, Landreval.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Aaron, you also did forget to talk about something else.
What?
Uh-oh,
The
what?
reason we were doing it this week, the Halloween event.
Oh yes, the Haunted Burrow and the
Oh.
Harvest Festival. Oh dang. I've already forgotten to talk up one Halloween/fall event. So yes, right now going on until I think October 14th?
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
So it probably will be already done by the time this podcast goes up.
Yeah.
So I guess it'll be Oh well. But always
Yeah,
next
so
year.
all of you listening, you've missed the cosmetics.
Mhm. Yeah.
But to be honest, well, in my opinion, I tried the Haunted Burrow. I didn't like it. It's nice. It's nice picture candy. Navigating it's a freaking nightmare. And all the freaking timed quests in there.
Yeah, I skip the time quests. I just do the other ones.
Yeah,
Well, I know the place at the back of my hand now. I got through everything. I got the title now for it.
I had this. There was this one where you were supposed to drink a potion, a certain potion, to do this hint and get through, and I apparently failed that one because I used the regular door instead of the non-regular door. Pissed me off. It was just it because of course I had no idea where the hell I was going in there.
Have you done the
I don't
horse
know.
races?
The horse races were okay. I managed to beat the one in the Shire. I still haven't done the one in Bree, but I found that to be okay. But no, the Haunted Burrow just really started to annoy me, especially with the 2-day lockout on the chests.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is a downer.
Yeah. So really, you to do all the quests, you have to run the burrow like what 6 times, even if you've got the layout down pat, and you can really only get the special loot from there once every 2 days.
Are they still offering the horse, that black horse with the bones painted on it?
I have not heard otherwise, and I see people looting the chests frequently. So I would assume it's still there.
That may be something that's in the LOTRO store now.
Yeah.
It is in the LOTRO store, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Alright, so for next week we will do Secret World. Consensus.
And my 80s punk main character.
and that will be a return of me on Nam, like I said, my MMO Eternal character. The only game thus far that he's not on, I think, is this one. Because, like I said, if they had a Men of the East, I'd totally have him. But at the moment, no, he really wouldn't. He doesn't really fit in as somebody from Bree.
I actually do know there is somebody in my guild who, or in my kinship, who does actually RP somebody who's supposed to be from Haradwaith, which is kind of interesting.
Okay, guys, well, we'll see you all next week. Thank you for joining us, and everyone have a good night. There we go.
That's all I got.
One of my signature songs. It's rare, so I get away with it.
Oh, that's right, I'm on headphones. I can actually turn my sound on. Haha. I've been sitting here with my sound on.